Okay, here's what you'll be asked to know on your final. Okay, it's kind of two separate topics. Your spring final will have more to it than this does, but because you joined the class kind of late, so this is what I feel comfortable assessing on. It comes out to about 24, 25 problems. But a lot of it is finding what the x is in the equation. Okay. Now you have to solve the equation for x. That's your mission right here. Negative 2 plus x equals negative 13. So here's where my x is, this side. What's happening to x? Well, we have addition. So we're going to subtract, and we're going to subtract negative 2. Just put a little negative 2 in parentheses. When you subtract a negative, because that will allow you to cross it out, and then you subtract parentheses negative 2 on the other side. So you got x, line up your equals, and you just take negative 13 minus negative 2, just like I did right there, and you get negative 11. When you minus a negative, it's like you're adding, it's like on a number line. Usually when you subtract, you think going left, but when you subtract a negative, you go right. You can just use your calculator, and that'll be just fine. Okay, number 2. What's happening to x? Well, there's no sign between the negative 3 and the x, so that's a multiplication. It means I need to do the opposite and divide. Okay. Dividing, draw the lines, and you can cross those out. And now you have x. Negative 33 divided by negative 3 is 11. So there's your answer. Okay, number 3. 14 equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay, so now x is over here. Now there's two things. You got a times and then a plus 3. You want to do your plus and minus first. So you go 3 minus. 3 minus. Line up your equals. You have 11. And negative 2 times x. You still got the multiply, so divide by the negative 2. I got x, and then 11 divided by negative 2 is a decimal. That's okay. Negative 5.5. Okay, number 4, actually cross out number 7, please. Okay. Number 4. Well, this time there's more than one x within the equation, so I have to simplify it first. Now here's my equals. Now are those x's on the same side or are they on opposite sides? They're on the same side, so I want to make a connection with a v and write add. Now you see the numbers in front of your x's. You got 6 and 3, but the one with a minus needs to be added as a negative. So line up your equals. You got 16. And you add, you take 6 plus negative 3, and that's 3. So 3x, and you still got your constant of minus 2. Now you're good to go. You got two operations, a times 3, a minus 2. We got to do the minus 2 first. So plus 2 takes me to 18, and 3 times x. Now it's dividing by 3. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Okay, 5 is kind of the same as 4. You see there's two different x's in the equation. They're on the same side of the equals. They're both over here, so we make the v and write the word add. Now this x here would be a 1. This x would be a negative 3. Whenever it has a minus, we need to think of it as a negative when doing this adding. So line up your equals. You have 17. And we take 1 plus negative 3, it's going to be negative 2x, and then minus the constant 3. And now we're good. So we have multiple times negative 2 and minus 3. We've got to do the opposite of minus 3 first. So we have 20, negative 2 times x, and then it's time to divide. 20 divided by negative 2 is negative 10, and then we have x by itself. Okay, number 6. Okay, we got parentheses, so we have to do the distributive property. okay? I would put a 1 in front of the x's. So I will be taking, remember that 5's plus negative, so I will be taking 3 times 1x and 3 times negative 5 over there, but then I have another one. So 2 is my multiplier, so I'll go 2 times 1x times 5. So this would be 3x, and this would be negative 15. So on this side, I'm going to write 3x minus 15. On this side we have 2x and we have positive 10, so that side's going to be 2x plus 10. Okay, now you have two x's in the equation, but they're on opposite sides. So I would put an arrow with the smaller one and get that to a 0 by adding or subtracting. So if you have 2, to get a 2 to a 0, you're going to subtract 2. It's like a plus 2x, so the opposite of plus 2x is minus 2x. This is what you do when they're on opposite sides. When they're on the same, you do your little adding v. But if they're on opposite sides, you mark one of them with an arrow and either add it or subtract it so that it's gone. So you got 1x minus 15. Then on the other side, you got 10. Okay, then plus 15, plus 15. 1x. 10 plus 15 is 25. You can divide by 1, that's fine. 25 divided by 1 is 25 though. Okay, and then backside, we're still trying to solve for the x. So we got two things happening. We have multiplied by a fraction, then we got plus 2. So we'll do the plus 2 first. Minus 2, minus 2. So you got 18. And then you got negative 2/3 x. Remember, that's times x. Now, I know that's a fraction, so when our x is multiplied by a fraction, we're incidentally going to multiply. What we need to do at the fraction is flip it, okay? So we're going to flip it. So it's going to be 3 over 2. And then 3 over 2 over here. Now, about this negative, you want to keep the negative on top if it's there, okay? So again, I'll let that sink in a little bit. So when you're multiplied by a fraction, you need to flip. You're going to multiply, but you're going to flip the fraction. It's called reciprocating. But if you see a negative, you got to keep the negative there. So what we have is we can x those out, and those go away, and now we have x by itself. Now over here we'll put a 1, we'll go up here to the side, we'll take 18 times negative 3, negative 54, and then 1 times 2 is 2, and then we divide negative 54 by 2, so that's negative 27. So watch out for that one. You got multiplying by a fraction, you're actually going to multiply, but you're going to flip it. Okay, number 9. X divided by 3 plus 4 equals 12. So we have divided as and plus as the operation. So we do the plus first. The opposite of plus is minus, so it's 8. And what's the opposite of divide? It'd be multiply. So I put dots on each side, and I put 3. 3. And that was my answer. 8 times 3 is 24. Okay, and we got a couple story problems here. A dance academy charges a registration fee of $15 along with $24 per class. If the total cost ends up at $687, how many classes did the person take? Okay. All right, now, 0 classes cost $15 because you had to pay the registration. Now, the $24 per class mean I'm going to just go 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to add 24 every time. So 15 plus 24 is 39. 39, and then I add 24 again. Every time I go up 1 class, I add 24, so that's 63. Then I add 24. and that's 87. Now you could keep doing that forever, but just go to 3 when it does that per class. So now I line up my tables. I've got dollars and class. Okay. Now, money should never be X. You don't really have a time unit here. Money should never be X. So X would be the classes, Y would be the money. So per, dollars per class, that is going to be $24. So 24X. 24 times how many classes. Then we make a line because every step of the line would be 24X. But the first number I have with the 0 is 15. So 15 goes here. So 15 plus 24X equals Y. So write that equation. Okay, now it says class is equals. Well, class is X, so I'm solving for X. So that means I got to put a number in for Y. And the number I put in, since Y is money, I can put in $687 for that. So 15 plus 24X equals 687. Then I can solve for X. You got plus 15 and then times 24. So we got to deal with the 15 first. So we minus, opposite of plus 15 is minus 15, which gives us 672 now. And over here you still got the X times by 24. So we'll need to divide by 24. So 672 divided by 24 is going to be 28. 28 classes. Okay, and then last one on this packet. Jack has $500 in his account. There's Jack, 0 months, he's got $500. Then his account is saving $25 per month. Tom has $200 in his account and he's saving $50 per month. For how many months will the two guys have equal amounts of money? I forgot to write something down here. It should say months. Okay. Okay, so let's look at these tables. So this guy has $500 at the beginning, and then that per month I can go 1, 2, 3, and then I add 25. So 500 plus 25 is 525. Plus 25 to that's 550, and then 575. I just choose to go to 3 because that's short and simple. Now, how about the other guy? After 1 month, he would have added 50, so 250. After 2 months, he'd be up to 300, and then after 3, 350. I want to know when they have the same amounts of money. Okay, right now this guy has a lot more than this guy, but since he's only adding 25 and he's adding 50, eventually they will be equal. Okay, now the reason I'm making these 3 boxes is because at 0 months we have a number there. Okay, at 0 months we have a starting number here. It's not 0 with 0. Okay, it's 0 and 500, 0 and 200. So I'm going to be making 2 lines this time, with 500 and 200 at the beginning of each one. Okay, so months and money. Time is X, so X and then Y. Now dollars per month. Well, this guy was adding 25 every single month, 25X, but then there's another guy, he's adding 50 a month, so 50X. So 25X and 50X. Plus. Now when you have 2 lines, don't put equals Y. Just connect the lines and put equals. Because I don't need Y. I want to know when 500 plus 25X is equal to 200 plus 50X. Okay, so you got 2 X's in the equation. They're on different sides, so mark the smaller one with an arrow. Put 25X and 25X, and since that's a positive 25, a plus 25, we would want to minus it. So line up your equals. You have 500. Now over here I would suggest you put the X first. So it'd be 25X and then plus 200. Okay, now you got 2 things happening to X, times 25 and plus 200. You got to get rid of the plus 200 first. Okay, so that's 300, and that's 25 times x. Now it's dividing time. And 300 divided by 25 is going to equal 12. So 12 equals x, 12 months. Okay, so that's that. Now on the other one, you just took a test over this last Friday. It's ratios and proportions. Okay, solve for x, line up in equals. So we'll take x times 12 is 12x, and then on the other side, 8 times 30 is 240. And the only thing happening to x is the times 12, so we just divide by 12. And 240 divided by 12 is 20. Use your calculator on your own. I'm just going to do it in my head to save some time. Now here, wow, I mean, this is a lot more complicated. You got 4, there's a 5 in front of the x and a plus 1. So I'll circle this, or you can go, it doesn't matter the direction you go. So the 8, the number by itself, I'm going to multiply twice. I'm going to multiply it by 3x, and then I'm going to take the 8 and multiply it by -5. I mean, that's what I'm doing here, but now I got two things to multiply by, times 3x and times -5. So that equals 24x, and this equals -40. So on this side, put 24x minus 40. Now, how about the other way? Well, 4 is the solo number. So that needs to be multiplied by both 5x and by 1. So that equals 20x, and that equals 4. So I write 20x plus 4. Now they're on opposite sides, so mark your smaller one. Put that underneath both of them. And to get this to a 0, you'd have to take 20 minus 20. So that gives you 4x minus 40 equals 4. Now it's much simpler, okay? You got times 4 and minus 40, so we have to do the opposite of minus 40, which is plus 40. And that takes me to 44, and then 4 times x. Now we divide by 4, and 44 divided by 4 is 11. Number 3, what percent of 56 is 42? Now remember the percent proportion. It's percent over 100%. And here are my numbers. It's is and of. Now, neither one of those numbers is a percent. It says what percent, so that's x. And my camera's about to die, so I'm going to have to make a second video. Just click on it in your email.